Do you ever put in tons of effort into a sale and you walk away empty-handed? Well, this works because, well, selling is a zero-sum game, right? And what does that mean? It means that there's only ever one winner, most of the time. Therefore, of course, there are no benefits to coming in second place in sales. So for most engagements with buyers, you've got win or lose, and there's no real middle ground until now, because I'm going to show you in this video what downselling is and how you can use that to win more of the deals that were unlikely to happen in the first instance. Hi, I'm Will Barron, founder of Salesman.org, where we've helped thousands of salespeople who sell services crush their sales quotas. So what is downselling? Downselling is selling prospects who are basically on their way out of the door, whether that's literally or figuratively. And when you downsell, you close sales that otherwise would have gone to your competition. So even though you might be doing slightly less revenue than what you would have done otherwise, you're stealing all of these deals away from the marketplace and away from the competition that otherwise would have hurt you in the long run. I always think about it like this. If you're not downselling right now, it's like buying a pedigree puppy and then raising him and grooming him to be an absolute killer at the local dog show. And then the big day comes. You drive him to the dog show, 9 a.m. in the morning. You're all dressed smart. He's got some weird perm going on. And then you get the dog and you throw him right out of the car window. Clearly, this is going to be bad for the dog, and it's bad for you because you've wasted a lot of time in preparing that young puppy for success. And that's exactly what you're doing if you're going through the whole sales process. If you're going from A here and B, you're going from A to B and you fail at this point and you don't get people over this bridge by downselling them, you're essentially throwing this prospect out of the window with the dog and letting someone else clean up and take home the money. So let's say you're selling SaaS, right? Or software as a service, and you're selling it to the engineering industry. So you may have multiple tiers, right? Multiple tiers of service that you can provide to that industry. So a buyer engages with you, they go through the entire selling process, and at the last minute, there's a huge budget cut, there's a global pandemic, whatever it is, and the deal can't happen with the variables that you started with at the beginning of the sales process. At this point, you built trust with the buyer, they want to work with you, and so if the deal can't be done with plan A, we must shift to downselling the buyer and using plan B. So very simply in this example, we could just give them the second tier of service that comes at a cheaper price, so it fits with their budgets, and we've successfully downsold this individual. Another potential example could be that you're selling a service and it's got a long, year-long contract and the buyer won't agree to it. Well, if they're going to walk away anyway, you might as well downsell them on a 6-month contract just to get the deal done, at which point you can prove how effective you are, you can show the ROI of your service, and with all things going well, you're probably going to extend the contract beyond that first 12-month period anyway. Now, of course, you don't want to start the sales process. You don't want to start at point A, discounting, reducing contract lengths, or any other concessions. But if it gets you over this hump towards the end of the sales process and gets the deal done, then it's fine to downsell on occasion. So other than just getting the deal done at all costs, what are some of the other benefits to the buyer? Well, the biggest benefit to the buyer is usually you get to build trust with them. Because very simply, when you work with an organization to get the service implemented at a price that they can afford, you're building trust with that account. This is often called the land and expand approach to doing business. And this is what I used to do all the time when I was selling medical devices. It's often the only way that you're ever going to close huge deals in large enterprise accounts. They need to have a pattern of working with you. You've got to go from deal A to deal B to deal C before you get to this massive deal D. You've got to go through these sequential steps. And make sure to click subscribe because we've got an epic video on the topic of landing and expanding coming up in the next few weeks. Now, I would strategically downsell deals and close smaller deals than what I knew I was capable of when I was selling medical devices to hospitals. So rather than go through all of the logistics and the pain points and the sales process with a huge 500 grand deal up front, I'd often sell one camera system to a hospital for 50 grand that allows me to essentially get in under the radar, at which point the procurement team knows me, the surgical team knows me, and that 500 grand deal that they wanted to do in the first place can now become a £1 or £2 million project just because I've got all the approvals already set up. Otherwise, I would have been limited to that 500 grand because of rules and regulations. So, Will, how exactly do you downsell a buyer? Well, it's actually pretty freaking simple. You've just got to go into every sale having a BATNA. Of course, Will, this leads me to the question, what the friggin' heck is a BATNA? A BATNA is otherwise known as a best alternative to a negotiated agreement. It is a plan B when plan A goes to shit. And this only works when you stick with plan A at the beginning of the sales process. If you immediately start discounting, then plan B doesn't work. If you immediately start offering concessions on contract lengths or the service that you're going to provide, plan B doesn't work. Because when you discount and offer concessions right at the top of the sales process, the buyer doesn't trust that you're going to give any ROI at all. So make sure that you've got a BATNA for every single sales conversation that you go into, whether it's the prospecting phase, whether you're at the closing phase, it doesn't matter. Every phone call, every email, there should be a best alternative to a negotiated agreement so that you can always fall back on B and downsell your potential customers. So that's what downselling is, that's the benefits of it, and that's how you can implement it with the BATNA framework. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that thumbs up button. If you hated it for whatever reason, click thumbs down. And continue your sales education by watching one of the videos that are on the screen right now.